Belief is an act of negligence towards the acquisition of knowledge. Belief is what you do when you don't want to know. Romans chapter 5 verse 12 states, sin entered the world through one man, and death through sin. And in this way, death came to all people. Really? So this is the best that this all-knowing God could do. So he knew that this death will enter. Why didn't he prevent it from entering? If he doesn't like death, if death was not part of his design, why not prevent death from entering in the first place? Belief is an act of negligence towards the acquisition of knowledge. Belief is what you do when you don't want to know, or when you don't know because of one circumstance or the other, either because of your own lethargy or because of your own ignorance. So out of ignorance you believe, but when knowledge comes, you know. In Genesis chapter 6:5, God was complaining. The wickedness of man was great in the earth, and every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. That was the Bible God complaining in Genesis chapter 6 verse 5. Like he never knew. He was surprised. The Bible God was surprised that his design had flaws. He never knew that what he was creating would have learning process. No, he never knew that the human being he was creating were not perfect. He never knew. He was surprised. He was complaining that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and every intention of the thought was wickedness and continually. What a complaint. Who were you complaining to? Were you not the one that created human beings? You're supposed to know that the human beings had flaws. They are acting. Humans always acted according to design. Who designed us? So all-knowing God was surprised to discover that the man he created had weaknesses by design. This is very important. I have dealt with this topic on another separate video. So Adam and Eve, were they created to be fools forever? They were placed in the garden where failure was inevitable. The presence of the forbidden tree and the cunning serpent. Somebody knew about it. It was not an accident, but part of the Bible God's design. When Adam and Eve supposedly ate to get knowledge, the man had never made any mistake before. He had never disobeyed before. This was the first mistake, the first ever error, if we are going to call that an error, trying to get knowledge. But follow me, supposedly it was an error. This innocent Eve that had no experience, it's like punishing a baby that is just 2 hours old. 2 hours, the first mistake. Like as if this God never knew what would happen. You must not eat. Yes, you must not eat. But you knew they will eat it. You knew. It sounds like a good command. You know quite well. So they were created to be fools forever. In Genesis chapter 3 from 16 to 19, yet Adam and Eve did not even die because the Bible God lied. If they were separated, how come he was there dishing punishment to innocent man and woman? They were subjected to lives of suffering, banished from Eden, and condemned. But the Bible God, the angry, genocidal, wicked one, is always accusing us of sin. Written in Psalm 51 verse 5 is a lie. Okay, that was written to control men, to make you to live your life in fear and in condemnation, which we reject, which I have rejected. And that's exactly what they want us to believe. There is a lie in every belief. I don't live by belief. I function by knowledge, and I want to get more knowledge, not believe. When you believe, it's because you don't know. When you know, you don't need to believe. You act on the knowledge, because knowledge is stronger than belief. I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created. Genesis chapter 6 verse 7. So he couldn't guide his own creation. He couldn't correct them without killing them. If Samsung can correct a phone that is not functioning, name them, all the companies, Microsoft, they can correct their creation without destroying that object or that creation of theirs. So God cannot correct his own creation without killing, without violence, without murder, without genocide. You need to understand that we are dealing with some entity that is not our creator. Must not be this kind of tyrannical, callous deity that always knows what to do, watch everything unfold, then comes with punishment. Stated in Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 39, this Bible God stated, there is no God beside me. I put to death and I bring to life. I have wounded and I will heal, and no one can deliver out of my hand. Really? What is self-acclaimed good guy that kills and heals as he wills. This sounds more like a Hollywood villain, a Hollywood monster from Marvel's story. Where was compassion? In comparison to what? Because if God acclaimed himself to be gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love, if God acclaimed that in Deuteronomy chapter 34, 6-7, my question is, in comparison to who? To compare with the devil, all right? Okay, I can see it now. Yet, where was this mercy for Adam and Eve? So if we compare God and the devil he created, then we say God is good. Was it not within an all-knowing God's power to correct and teach innocent Eve and Adam without such consequences? Ladies and gentlemen, a Bible God who sets trap. The very design of Eden is entrapment. The very design, the forbidden tree placed within their reach, a serpent allowed to deceive them, that wasn't by accident. A command they were ill-equipped to fully understand. These were the first human beings, supposedly, but I can tell you they were not the first human beings, and that's a discussion for another day, okay? Or supposedly they were the first human being, they had no experience, they've not dealt with such circumstance before, and they were only inquisitive. Human nature, a command they were ill-equipped to fully understand. You must not eat of the tree. If you eat of the tree, you will die. And so you plant the tree, put it in front of them, make it appealing, allow the Satan to come or the serpent to come, talking serpent for that matter. You were watching to know when they will eat it. I can imagine God watching. Are they eating it? Okay, all right. Immediately they eat it, let me go there and punish them. What kind of God is that? Doesn't that contradict James chapter 1:13, which says, when tempted, no one should say God is tempting? It looks like somebody is confirming, somebody is trying to prevent truth. James 1:13, when tempted, not if you are tempted. It is when tempted, because he knew that he will tempt people. So it's not if you are tempted. No man should say God is tempting me, because he knew he would be tempting people. And he doesn't want people to know that he's tempting them. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. If he doesn't tempt anyone, why did he say when tempted? Yet the setup in Eden contradicts this principle. Yes, millennia of suffering from Adam to the present day humanity, supposedly, but I am aligning with the Bible narrative to dissect the unimaginable wickedness of the Bible God, and the pain and the death were all attributed to the fall. Romans chapter 5 verse 12 states, sin entered the world through one man, and death through sin, and in this way death came to all people. Really? So this is the best that this all-knowing God could do. So he knew that this death will enter. Why didn't he prevent it from entering? If he doesn't like death, if death was not part of his design, why not prevent death from entering in the first place? This God is manipulative. This God is lying. If God is omnipotent, why allow this cycle of suffering, apex evil that face humanity, the God of the Bible? Because if this God of the Bible is true, then he became the epitome of evil. But in the case where he is not even true, we've all lived our lives in a lie, more punitive than forgiving. You say God is forgiving us. Why didn't God forgive Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden? The first mistake they made could not be forgiven. Why didn't God come around and say, you made this mistake, but I told you not to do this. You've done it. Okay, I forgive you for this one, but this is your first mistake. Don't make another one. Was it necessary to inflict such suffering on innocent descendants? The biblical God claimed to be righteous in all his ways. This is Psalm chapter 145, verse 17. Yet, his actions in Eden and beyond suggest otherwise. The story of Adam and Eve is not just a cautionary tale, but a stark reminder of the cruelty embedded in the framework of the Bible God's mentality. Instead of mercy, forgiveness, and guidance, we see a God who punishes harshly, demands perfection from flawed creations, and allows sufferings. God is demanding perfection from creations that he created imperfect. And I want you to understand, the Bible God is not your creator. Our creator cannot be sinned against. When you do something, it can either affect a human being or an animal, or even a tree. A human being can only wrong a person, animal, or even a tree. You cannot wrong the creator is beyond such fragility to be wronged. A concept made to control men and women and to bring them under control. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thankful is asking you for a favor. Like this video, share this video, and please come back to the channel, to the page, plus more is coming your way. Thank you again and see you soon. Stay safe.